Alright, we're back. Had to get some gasket, a little bit of oil. Braking oil, 70 weight. Perfect. Knucklehead oil. Nice and thick, just what we need. Okay, these are brand new James gaskets. Old packaging, they don't do it this way anymore. They got crappy packaging now. They're not proud anymore like they used to be. This was made in 14, this is 25, so these are 11 years old already. Just getting broken in. I need 2 of these. 1, 2. These feel like they're really thick too. Lower that compression down. They don't tell you how thick they are, but they feel thick. Let's see, 25 thou. Ooh, they are thick. 30 thou. Ooh, these are thick gaskets. Should be 20. So these will lower your compression when they're nice and thick like this. So if you take these out and don't even use them, put goop on there, you'll raise the compression of your bike a lot. It'll run better. It might leak too. Yeah, you want to run good or you want to leak? Your call. Alright, we're putting them in there. But I'd rather those only be 20. That's pretty thick. Okay, we got our piston already set up a little bit. Now we got to take our ring and put it in. Now for some reason now they care about what direction your ring goes, whether it's up or down. I don't know why it makes a damn bit of difference. The ring doesn't care. You got some extra compression going to make it go not work if you got too much vertical movement or something? I don't get it. Who cares? Stupid ring, doesn't make any difference. What does matter is don't overlap it with a good ring. Okay, so you can put that in there like that. Gap's right here. Take this one, stick it over here. Gap's here, we're over on this side now. Roll this thing around. Now you can wrap a steel ring, you cannot wrap a cast iron ring. These are really thin, so they're really flexible. Now you get down here, you got to pull out a little bit so it doesn't nick up the whole thing, see? Well, you get a big scratch down there. Okay, that one's in. Put your finger on the gap, turn it around, go over 180 degrees, that'd be over here. Not over here, right here. Take the ring, stick it in the hole, bring it around again. Roll it around, like that. You get down over here, do the same thing, pull on it. You put your nail in there if you want to, like that, drop it in, boom. When the O-ring's in correctly, it moves nice and freely. If it doesn't, it's not correct. Okay, sure hope I did that right, because I didn't know which way to put the spring. Maybe we put this one up. Did we put the other one down? I don't remember. I don't think it really matters. This one's going up. Who cares? I don't care. My 8,000 plus RPM race bike doesn't care which way that ring goes. I don't think a 3,000 RPM street bike's going to care. Okay, same thing. Put the ring over here, wrap it around. Don't twist it, just bring it around evenly. Comes right around. Same deal when you get over here, you got to do something about it, just not screwing things up. So, boom. Okay, go around the other side, same deal. Bring it around. And you get right here, like I said, if you don't pull it, it's going to be a big mark, so pull it. Kick it back up, it goes up in the hole. Nice and free again. Golden. Okay, those are the easy ones. You got 2 shiny ones and 2 dark ones. Shiny ones are moly coated. Cast ones are cast. It's actually called parkerized. That's the coating that's on these things. It's parkerized. It's a wear coating also. It also stops corrosion and other stuff. But it's a break-in coating. These are moly. You take a cast iron ring like this, you put a big groove in it, you melt in some molybdenum, some liquid moly stuff, molybdenum sulfite, basically. Melt it in there, and then that's what you have there. That's a wear surface. Makes it seal better, wear better too. But not if you got a lot of grit in your motor like Harleys do. Okay, so you're looking for any kind of a marking. Markings go up. If you don't have a marking, then the chamfer goes up. So the chamfer is the dull side. This side's really sharp. This side's dull. So this has a chamfer. So if you look at it cross-sectional wise, you might be able to see it. Okay. But see, there's no marking here. Flip it around. See the dot? Dot goes up. This is a reverse twist ring. That means it's upside down. Reverse. The ring has a little bit of twist to it. What that does means the ring is shaped like this. It's instead of being flat here, it actually goes like that. This is a big spring. When you compress it, you cut away part of it. It flexes at a different inner and outer flexes differently. That makes the ring bow up a little bit. When you bow up a little bit, then the sharp edge digs in and squeegees the oil off the cylinder better. Reverse twist. See, they don't teach you that in the damn comic book, do they? Okay, now I gotta put this in here. Pull back a little bit so you see better. Okay, so you take the ring. You never wrap these things. If you do, it turns into a big spring. That means it's not going to be straight no more like this. It'll be this one will be higher on this side, and that'll be a spring. So when the compression has to squeeze it down before it will seal. The thing is, how do you seal the ring to make it where you can press it down if it's leaking? Doesn't work very good. So never wrap a cast iron ring. So you put this in the groove you want it to be in. You put your thumbs on there. Put your fingers up here where it's hitting on the piston, and you expand. Pull back with your thumbs, push down with your fingers. So you can make sure it's in the groove. See how it's in the groove? Keep going. A little bit wider, a little bit further down. Now don't push too much on one side, you don't want to bend the ring. Wherever it's hitting on the piston is where the pressure needs to be put. So I just go a little bigger, put pressure. See, now I'm way up to here now. See, it's almost over the top edge now, see? All you gotta do is push it like this. Yep. It pops in, see? A little bit deeper. We're in second. See the second ring now? Okay, now it's nice and loose on there. No drag. When you push it up, see how they're in line with each other? They're not twisted. If it's twisted, it'd be one be high, one be low. That'd be bad. The ring would be locked up in a groove. It wouldn't work very good. It wouldn't be free. See, this one's nice and free. Spins free, goes up and down. See, falls down. Nice and free. That's what you want. Free rings. Free rings mean rings work. Tight rings do not work. Okay, the Molly ring is a square cut ring, so that means it's equal. Sharp on both sides, doesn't matter. Look for a mark. I don't care how the ring is made. If there's a marking on it, put it up. These ones usually do not have any markings on them, but we're double checking just to make sure. I don't see any kind of marking on this. You put a little spit on there in your finger. It highlights the ring a little bit. All your markings are going to be somewhere within a 3/4 of an inch of the ring, if not a 1/2 inch from the edge. That's where they mark them. I don't see anything on this one. See, the spit highlights it. Still no marking. Okay, it doesn't matter how it goes. Put it in however you want. Let me double check to make sure I don't see anything on this. Still don't see anything here. I got some kind of discoloration right there. It's a good reason to put that one up. I think that's heat treating, that matters. Same thing. Put the ring in the groove. Expand it out with your fingers, your thumbs. Push down with your forefingers. Open it up. See how that one's below the groove? Put it back in the groove. Dumbass, put it where it belongs. Yes, it does hurt your thumbs when you do it this way. So, but you go around like that. Now, if you don't want to hurt your thumbs so much, they make tools. I use this snap ring tool. This is not a piston ring tool. Works good though. Goes in here, opens it up here, push down on the top. Same thing, but you're not hurting your thumbs. Boom, it went right in. Nice and smooth, nice and loose. See, it's not offset, not bent. Good to go. Okay, now you can orientate your rings correctly. First thing I do is find out where the ring gap is at. Somebody's been dicking around my rings. I don't know what the gap is at. Yeah, there's the bottom one right there. Okay, the bottom one goes here. We know the other one's over here. Right there is the other one. See, they're 180 apart. Okay. So now we take this one here. We put it 90 degrees from that one. And we take the other one and put 180 from that one. Right over there. I don't put them on the 90. I don't put them on a thrust face. And I don't put them over the split of a cylinder. You don't want the ring groove on top of where there's a cutaway in the cylinder. So basically your ring grooves are on the 45s. Here, 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 or here. The O-rings are 180 apart. The top rings are turned 90 degrees and they're 180 apart. That's how they work. That one's ready to go in. Simple. This one here, I'm going to do the same thing. Dull ring. Sharp edge is up on this one. Highlight that marking. See how the mark comes up real quick? Dot. Dot goes up. She's in. Next one. Same thing, no markings. It helps to not to have this one the same spot because you're trying to do two rings at once. It really hurts your thumb. They are sharp too. That one didn't want to go, so you can kind of work it over if you want. Only where it's hitting the piston, you work your two thumbs like that. Because my thumb gets hurting too much tension. Always come back and double check to make sure your ring is straight, not warped or bent. If it's bent, take it back off and straighten it. Be very careful. S-bends don't work either, you gotta make it flat. I should have how to do that in other videos. It's a pain in the ass, but I can do it. Saves rings. Rings are expensive. It's best not to screw them up the first time. Okay, they're where I want to be. They're nice and smooth and easy. We're good. All right, we're golden. Okay, that's how you put rings on pistons. All right, we'll be back.